Say who you are.
Oh, I'm Dr. Jody Breska.
Okay, perfect. So what is depression?
Depression is a shortage of chemicals in the brain that help transmit information from one neuron to another. The most common chemical is serotonin. There's two other chemicals that can be affected and have low levels that can lead to depression. They are norepinephrine and dopamine.
Okay, perfect. And what does depression do to the brain? Like, how does it affect it?
What happens is there isn't enough of the messenger chemicals, the three that I mentioned, that can help the information get from one neuron to another. And so then over time, there are a whole myriad of symptoms that can start, and different people have different symptoms, and so that's why it's not always easy to diagnose.
Okay. Is depression serious?
Yes, it is very serious. Left untreated, it can lead to suicide.
What types of depression are there? What types of depression are there?
So for the depression, there are, depending on the manifestation of a person's depression, could be more anger oriented, more anxiety oriented, or then obviously how most people know depression is people who are very sad. And the other is a specific type would be postpartum depression. Can happen even antepartum, it's called, when a woman is still pregnant from the hormonal fluctuations, and then is even more common after a baby is delivered for the first 6 months.
What does depression do to a teen?
Depression in teens is a little bit more complicated. It can be harder to diagnose because they can have symptoms that are more anger oriented or more anxiety oriented. They tend to try to cover it up because they themselves don't know what's going on, and can lead to riskier behaviors than a teenager would have anyway, such as trying to self-medicate with drugs or alcohol.
What can depression cause?
Depression can cause many things. It can lead to decreased production in school for school-aged people, decreased production in jobs for people who work outside the home, and can cause suicidal ideation. It's called the thought of suicide, and if not caught soon enough, can lead to suicide.
Do you have to be diagnosed by a doctor, or can you diagnose yourself?
You can diagnose yourself. How doctors, at least in the Mayo system, have been using to diagnose depression is a tool called the PHQ-9, and there's a specific PHQ-9 for teenagers because it's a little more complicated than adults to diagnose. And anyone could Google a PHQ-9 or PHQ-9 for teens on the internet and use that as a tool to see if they are depressed, and if so, then would recommend an appointment with their provider.
And then does depression affect men or women more?
I don't know the statistics on that. I see more women in my practice, but I know that I would imagine 50-50.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.